You're listening to the Young Buck Old Buck podcast, presented by Forest and Sky, sponsored by Chops & Co. Public Market.
There we go, heads up.
Touch him up. Dead bird. Dead bird. Get it, Sky, get it.
Good job, buddy. Keep flopping.
Welcome back to the Young Buck Old Buck podcast. It's your host, Young Buck Daniel DeForge, joined by my co-host, Old Buck Bruce Smith. And Bruce, can you do the honors of introducing our special guest today?
I am so stinking excited about this. I'm not kidding. David Bunce. I have known this guy since he was literally like a year or 2 years old. And I met him right here on the grounds at Bear Lake Bible Camp. We have a lot of history. It's been incredible. There's some gaps in it, but man, I have such great memories of him as a kid. And
I'm still a kid.
You're still a kid, yeah. Some of us grew up, others didn't. You know how that goes. And his brothers, I have so many fond memories. It's great. And the cool part is, we're recording in the basement of the house he lived in as a kid. I mean, can't get any better than that, man.
Yeah, does this basement feel eerily familiar?
I when I walked up to the house, I was telling Bruce, I walked up and I was opening the door, and Jeremy goes, "Dude, you're opening your house." I go, "Yeah, this is where I grew up. This is so weird." But it's missing all the holes in the walls and the doors. The boys put in, you know.
Yeah.
The damage is of legend, let me tell you.
That is awesome. Yeah, so it is, this is surreal.
Yeah.
I live here now. This is the house I live in, and Dave has lived here for many years. Probably, how many years total were you in this house?
No, it was only, 6 years?
It was only 6 or 7 years by the time, because they moved in when it was brand new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were building this place, you know, when I was staffing here. So they were just young kids when they moved in here, and then late 70s by the time they left. So it wasn't a long time, but it was a memorable time.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Well, Dave, for the audience, give us a 1 minute snapshot. Who is Dave Bunce?
Wow. That's a hard question right there. Raised on Bear Lake Bible Camp for the first half of my childhood, raised at Wildwood Ranch Farm and Camp for the second half of my childhood, became a nerd engineer, flew around the world, got old, had 4 kids, have 4 grandkids, 5 technically, and that pretty much sums up. I love hunting, I love shooting, I love technical stuff, and camp has always been a super important ministry that I've always felt was important in my life, and still involved, and probably will be till the day I go.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned hunting, of course. If you're listening to this podcast, that's a common interest as well. What's your favorite thing to hunt?
I don't do it anymore, but bear was probably one of our favorite. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What state, or should I say country, did you primarily hunt?
Canada.
Okay.
Canada. Yeah. It's an interesting story. I went up there to deer hunt, and so I was working with some M&R guys. They're like the equivalent to DNR for Ontario. They were in our hunting crew. Great guys, great meals, great conversations. But when it came to hunting, they kind of enjoyed reading books rather than actually bringing down deer. So after a couple of years, I started running cameras and feeders. And true story, I got a picture of my feeder up in the air dropping corn at 7 in the morning, and there's a black bear standing up like this.
That's epic.
So we decided.
I've seen Bruce like that at a buffet once.
Or my son with the snacks during deer season. Yeah. So we switched to bear hunting rather than deer hunting because we found out there was more bear than imaginable up there. So we kind of began the process, and it was new to me.
Cool.
So it was a cool challenge. Yeah.
Now, is there a draw system, or is it over-the-counter tags?
So we were up in Bracebridge area, and there is so many bear that I could pull as many tags as I wanted. They just, people don't realize it, nor do they, take the interest to hunting. It's a lot of work.
Wow.
It's a lot of work, and when you bring them in, there's not a lot of processors, so a lot of times you have to do that yourself. Not just field dressing, but, doing your secondary.
Sounds like a bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boom.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Is it true? I've heard that when you skin a bear, the carcass looks very human-like.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a cool creature.
I think they're amazing.
So how many have you brought down?
3 in our career. Yeah. We began, it was kind of cool. My son, Krister, didn't get into sports as much, but loved shooting and hunting. So I started pushing him really hard, trained him up, got all of his licenses. And so when at 16, you're allowed to free hunt in Canada. So he didn't need a guide, an older person being with him. So we decided to hunt. I did the North Cliff. He did the South Cliff, about a mile of distance between us. And then that was our first hunt. He took down our first bear.
Wow.
Which was it was wild. So my kid, 16-year-old, he's a mile away, and we got our phones, and I see something, I hear something, this is how it's going, and all of a sudden I hear this, and I'm like, awesome. Don't go after the bear.
Your mom will kill me.
Wait, son.
and then there's no answer, and I'm like, oh, jeez. So I took off running. He wouldn't answer me, and I freaked out, and I took off running with my rifle loaded on a 1 mile down the cliff and up the cliff, and I just don't know what's going on at this point. And I don't know if you've ever heard this before or read about it, but some bears, when they go, they give out a death roar. Mm-hmm. Horrifying.
Oh.
So I'm halfway there, starting to head up the South Cliff, and I hear this.
Oh, boy.
It's just horrifying. But I go, the bear is dead.
Oh, you knew about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't Krister screaming, so I figure it's probably pretty good.
the book smart guys may have taught him that one. Yeah.
Wow.
I remember hearing that story.
Yeah, it was wild.
Just this young kid takes
And
the
he
bear.
did.
Man.
He took off running. He went out after looking for it, and but it went down a cliff, crossed a river, started to go up a cliff. I mean, this is serious yardage, and I kind of thought, young, you got excited, bad shot. When we did the field dressing, dude, it was 2 lungs, both shoulders. Bears are adrenaline junkies. They are unbelievable.
So how in the world do you get the thing out and get it back?
That's also a funny story. we're at the bottom of a river with the cliff, and we don't want to field dress them down there because it's just so messy. So we threw them in a body bag. And the 2 of us on our hands and knees have a carcass in a body bag, and we just crawl 10 feet up the cliff edge, another 10 feet, and we did that for about an hour, got up top, and then we got to a nice area where we could do the field dressing. Yeah, I was super glad it wasn't the 450-pounder, because I'd have just had a heart attack.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So then you just pack it out from there?
Yeah, we field dress them, pack them out, and then since, like I said, it was hard to find processors, we just took it to another location where we could kind of get clean and then kind of do all your steaks and that sort of stuff.
Wow. Did you do a rug?
We did. It is in our cottage,
Cool.
above Krister's bed.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, Canada bear. You say you don't do that much anymore. So now, how do you kill your time in the hunting world?
Mostly deer, Michigan deer, and still doing pheasant.
Okay.
Still doing pheasant, deer. I've always wanted to do turkey. I tell you about that all the time. One of these days, we're going to go.
Yeah.
We're going to go. Yodi, we've done some few runs on Yodis, but they're, like turkey, a formidable prey that for you to go after, man, they're hard. Mm-hmm. They are crazy hard.
You have to have the whole night set up these days, and I mean, gosh, these guys are spending $2,000 on yoke guns, which is good for them. You're giving me the upwards thumb.
Listen, Ed Dietrich, who I've mentioned before,
Yeah.
he hunts with guys that have 10, 12, 13,000 wrapped up. in
Yeah,
their yoke
okay.
gun.
So maybe I was just talking about the scope.
Yeah. Or actually, when they were getting into it, I mean, that's what the cans were running $1,700, $2,000, just to put a silencer on them.
You know what I saw today? I saw that there's a bill going to Congress to make the silencer tax zeroed out. Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
I would definitely buy one then, for sure. It's always been kind of a deterrent. It's like, I got to spend another $200 just to even own the thing. So, yeah, that'd be really cool. Speaking of some laws, have you guys seen the updated Michigan deer laws? They had a meeting last week.
No.
Yes. So they recanted the rule regarding youth hunters not being able to shoot bucks. So now antlered deer is back in regarding the youth season and the disability season. So I think there was enough stink about that. I could fall either way. I don't know. I don't have a huge opinion on it. Anyone want to say one way or another? I don't
think they take that many deer out, to be honest with you. A lot of good deer get killed before we get a chance to hunt them, but I just don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, and I think the bucks that are getting shot during the youth season, those are the bucks that are living on that farm. Like, that is home for them, And you could make the argument, okay, well, the neighbor doesn't get a chance because now the buck isn't going to free range a little further during the rut or whatever, but I don't know, manage your property a little better and keep big bucks in your property? Could be the argument?
Yeah, could be the argument. I mean, this goes back to the conversation we've had, a few weeks past about getting kids involved. And if that's what it's going to take,
right,
to give them a chance to kill some early season deer, then go for it. Get these kids into the sport and build them up from there. So I'm for teaching the generation. So,
yeah, the next rule they recanted was they're allowing archery season in the UP again, being able to shoot does. Because I think it was buck only for a little bit. I don't know. I'm not really super familiar with the UP rules, but there was some changes made that impacts the UP for sure. So I'm still waiting to hear. Have you heard about the baiting proposal?
No, but I want baiting back.
You may be able to do it because what's being proposed is you can do it for $20 a bait pile.
What? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the new rule. Yeah. That is in legislation.
How big is the bait pile?
So they'll tell you it's a 2-gallon bucket. I think is what it was before, 2 or 3 gallon bucket. It'd be the same restrictions. But yeah, so it goes from a $5,000 fine if you put out a bait pile to, well, you just pay us $20 a pile and you can go ahead and bait. Yeah, we vented a little bit about this a few weeks ago.
There's some ethics issues here.
It's such a scam, man. It's just horrible. Horrible.
So, Dave, talk to us about deer hunting. What do you just love about it? What's some of your favorite memories? What's your setup? Just walk us through it.
We're weird. We're probably not normal, but it's a big family thing. All the boys get together. It's barbecuing, it's smoking meat, it's crazy food that we normally don't eat, and we're hanging together. And we don't, if we get a great buck, we'll take them. But for us, it's about venison. So we're taking deer, we're processing them, they're going in the freezer. My boys, they eat venison all year round. And so it's the whole, and kind of to this whole youth thing, it's about the whole experience, man. These guys they're taking the shots, they're taking the risks, they're freezing their heinies for 3 hours, then they're field dressing, getting your hands in. It's kind of a neat experience to look at a healthy deer and look at hearts and lungs and go, this is what God made. This is amazing how all this stuff works, and look how incredible, and just that whole, it really puts you back in touch. So for us, and I'm kind of weird too. I have to sit and pet all the deers after that I take them, maybe even shed a tear, and then I go back.
It's always been an emotional thing.
Yeah. Full confession, I have started doing Victory cigars. because it makes me pause.
You're so wired up.
And just sit and honor the animal for a while. You know what I mean? Just savor in the memories.
I do.
So I do that on purpose just to be intentional. So I love that.
Yeah. We do this now. Even my boys will sit and we'll pet them a little bit and we'll roll them around and look at how beautiful certain attributes are about certain deers, and it's so that whole process. And if we don't get one, the experience is still awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the hunt camp thing. It's changed a lot over the years. I grew up doing some really cool hunt camps, and a lot of guys are come and go. Like we stay home and we hunt from the house, and we don't really do deer camp. We've done it a couple times, but I love what you guys do because it's the whole experience. Those young kids are building memories, for a lifetime. They're awesome. I love that.
I really do want to consider opening turkey weekend, taking the 3 days and doing like a turkey camp.
Absolutely.
It would be a riot. Just get 5 or 6 guys together and just go to town with it.
I'd love to do that.
Count me in.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure.
Send me a text.
Yeah,
For sure.
We'll have to get that on the calendar.
So we have a chance to be in the field together.
Yeah.
You won
Yeah.
you won the auction.
Mm-hmm.
We put up for a hunt at the fundraiser at camp year before last. So we had a great day out in the field shooting some birds and had some great laughs. I would have liked to have videoed most of that day. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was sitting in a car with my wife. We were on a super long drive. I can't remember where it was, but the Bear Lake Bible Camp auction was going on, and she's looking at all the articles, this, that, and another auction, and then a personalized pheasant hunt with 2 guys, and she's reading this to me. I'm like, no, they're not auctioning off a pheasant hunt. Yes, they are. No, they're not. And then it's you two. And I'm sitting there driving. I go, oh, that would be so awesome. And she doesn't say anything to me. She's sitting there bidding.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I found out, who did I take it away from? It was, who was bidding at the tail end?
Bill Marshall was it or no?
No, he won the 1 year before. I don't know if he bid that one up.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm trying to remember.
I do remember she took somebody out at the end.
Yep. Because I told her, stay here. She completely ignored me.
No, not your wife.
That's awesome.
But I was super happy that she did. That was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again. I don't want to impose, but yeah, we'll have to do this on our own time.
No
at some
imposition
point.
whatsoever.
No, we do have to do it again.
Yeah.
And it's been a riot. That day was kind of strange because we lost half the birds we put out that day. And at first I thought Sky was just broken. I'm like, this dog is just done, not finding birds. What's happening? But then Paul brought out his pointer and ran the whole field, and there was just nothing.
Nope.
I don't know where they went.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's like he put them out and they ran.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then we went walking the next field over, and Dave and I are walking deep into this field. We ended up flushing a bird, and the bird flies behind us, and we turn around, and Bruce is on top of the hill, waving his hand, boom, boom, boom. Bruce is ducking for the hills.
Orange. See, that's why we wear orange. Don't shoot this.
Hey, man, there was 10 yards of space there.
Yeah. At least. Oh, yeah, at least. I wonder what all that pecking sound around me was.
Bruce or bird? Bruce or bird?
Okay, I can take it.
So you mentioned the deer hunting thing's become a kind of a family thing. Have your grandkids gotten involved yet?
Not yet, but there is rumors of such.
Oh boy!
Yeah, there's rumors that'll probably happen.
It will happen.
Yeah.
What's your setup? What are you shooting?
So yeah, we're kind of weird again. We are all fanatics. 450 Bushmaster ARs, running scopes on everything, like laser beams. And my doggone boys blow out the heart every single time.
Bruce wouldn't like that because he's a heart guy.
Yeah. We got to take it off the top of the heart. We had that discussion the other night.
I know. I like your idea.
Top
you shoot
of
the
the
aorta,
heart.
not the heart.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give him a tighter target to go after next time. Yep. My brother Nate was down there, and he really loves this. Nate's the oldest boy, And he loves the heart, and every time he gets a deer, he takes the heart out first thing. We process them, but when we go and we cook up the heart that night, that's just part of the process. So I'm sitting there with the flashlight. It's at night. He's spending all his time perfecting all the stuff off the heart, and he gets all done and he rolls it over, and there's a 45 cal going through it, and he's so mad. He's so mad. He throws it in the ground, and I'm laughing. I'm like, yes.
Have any of you guys done the traditional bite the raw heart?
No. That's disgusting.
I know. There's some guys that do it, though. Have you done it, Bruce?
No.
Okay, good.
No. In the fry pan with the butter, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, that's definitely my thing.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
We like to thank our sponsors, Chops & Co. Public Market. Chops & Co. specializes in locally grown, responsibly raised, high-quality pork products, direct from their farm to your table. Located in Jones, Michigan, give them a call at 269-244-1999.
All right, and we're back with our special guest, Dave Bunce. And Bruce, we're calling this a special episode. This is unique. We're not doing the whole outdoors update, meat of the show, spiritual application. We're going off script. This is starting to be a trend, you and I going off script.
That's how we roll. I mean, that's our wheelhouse is going off script. So.
Yeah, our wives would say there's nothing different about this at all.
It's pretty normal.
So, Dave, you mentioned you are an avid hunter. You love hunting, love the outdoors. Talk to us. How did you get that itch? Like, how was it instilled into you? Did your father hunt? Like what got you interested, and what has kept you?
Great question again. These are things I don't think about, and you throw these questions out there, and I got. So, actually, as a very young guy at Bear Lake, I can remember my dad and my brothers rabbit hunting. The little break action 410 and the break action 20 gauge. But I didn't really do much in the hunting scene all through my youth, and it was really, honestly, it was my son. When he was looking for something to get involved with, that was it. And so then I started, as an effort to get him in, I invested myself, and then it was just a natural love. There's things like, being in the Great White North, walking a mile in pitch black, watching the sun rise. You got time for prayer, you got time for thought, and then you see things that you've never seen before. You hear things you've never. I'll never forget one year, millions of these moths in the middle of November with snow on the ground rose up 2 foot off the ground and hovered, picking up all of the light as it rose. I've never seen this ever in my life before, and only saw that once. But just things like that you're never going to see unless you're crazy, sitting out in the middle of the forest before the sun rises.
Yeah.
Well, we've already established the fact you're a little crazy.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true.
I've known that for a long time. So
No, but I totally get that. And we even had some of those experiences in the turkey woods this spring. Like, seeing creation come to life and also just seeing, the woods green up again. And just the early stages. Like, unless you are making an intentional effort, you're really only going to see that if you're hunting and experiencing it through that lens. And we've seen some cool stuff that way.
absolutely, it's being in the woods for a sunrise. To me, it's a spiritual experience. I've said that 100 times. Probably one of the most favorite things in my life is to be still in the woods and just watch the day be born. Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
It's such a double-edged sword, though, because you know what my least favorite thing is? Walking in the dark, like to the tree stand. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm scared of the dark, but I'm definitely not comfortable. Like, it's getting better as time goes on. But I grew up in the city, man. Like, and now I'm back here, walking through the woods and the swamp edges, walking through cornfields, and it's just like, it's a little eerie. That's why I love, like, this whole filming thing, because you know what you need when you film a hunt? You need 2 guys so we can walk through the woods together, and I just feel a little better about it.
Yeah. A second to your least favorite thing is getting up in the morning.
That is true. Yeah,
You're that guy, are you?
Well, I will say that I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good when I know I have somebody that's going with me in the morning. But if it's just me and I set my alarm and it is cold outside and I'm in my warm bed, I'd say there's about a 50-50 chance if I'm getting out of bed or not.
If I go back and check my texts, I bet it is right at 50-50. Did you go? No.
But now, if I think that the ducks are flying or if there's a buck on my trail camera the night before, there's a good chance I'm going.
Sure.
But yeah, it's hard to get me out there for no reason.
But there's you touched on another point which is kind of interesting, and that is you go out, you freeze to death, you're waiting, all this patience and pain, and we've all been there, right? We're right at dusk, or how long do I continue to stay here free? I'm hungry. I need to go to the bathroom. I'm cold. Nope, there's a deer coming. No, there's a deer coming. And when that finally happens and you get that shot, all of that discipline and pain pays off, and it's I don't know, it's sweeter.
Oh yeah,
it's sweeter.
100%.
Absolutely. I mean, the grinding it out part, when everything in you is screaming, go to the house, man. Just go to the house.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming. And then you hear that crunch, and it's like, whoop.
Well, and that's how I
that.
felt about turkey season this year. Like, okay, yeah, I shot a bearded hen. It's not a trophy bird, but this was really the first year that I did it in my own efforts. The years before we were hunting with people that kind of helped me get a bird. They kind of guided me through that process. And there is that satisfaction when you're playing a game of chess and you win. Mm-hmm. And that's really about what hunting is. If that's waterfowl hunting, if it's deer, turkey, whatever it may be, like you are rolling the dice. You're trying to strategize. You're in the game and you're trying to win. You're trying to outsmart whatever it is you're hunting. And I've seen so many memes the past month and a half, 2 months. A turkey with a pea-sized brain outsmarts every hunter known to man. It's like it's humbling a lot of times, but man, when you finally connect and win the game, it's like yes, and it's exciting.
I shot you in your pea-sized brain.
That's right. Yeah, it may have took 3 shells, but we got there. Yeah,
we're not going there. Yeah. We're just going to leave that one alone.
Awesome. Okay, so Dave, talk to us about. So that's how you got into it. It was really that bond and connection with your son, which is, I just think that's super cool, and that's worth noting. Which, I think it speaks volumes about parenting. Caring about what your kids care about, being willing to invest and dive in, and really just immerse yourself in it. And so that's created some great memories for you guys.
Oh yeah. And then you kind of broaden that horizon. You start hooking up with friends and family, and the next thing you know, I'm down in Georgia hunting hogs at 12 o'clock at midnight with night vision with my cousins, or I'm lying out in a layout boat in the middle of the lake in January with waves rolling over my shoulders with a shotgun, trying to figure out whether I'm going to drown and die or actually get a duck. Your whole group of people, you reach out, and all of a sudden you're going places and you're meeting and you're spending really good quality time with other guys.
So Nate, Scott, and Mike, were they hunting? Because they didn't get into it really till you did they?
Nathan has always been an avid hunter. Scott, not so much. Mike doesn't enjoy hunting, but he loves shooting. So
I know that.
Mike's the armorer behind the Bunce clan. If there's a rifle, Mike's probably had something to do with.
I've seen some of the stuff he's built. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's cool.
Great stuff.
Awesome. Well, you talk to us a little bit about, we talk about the camaraderie. I mean, that's kind of how the three of us got connected too. Was through that, and so now here we are doing a podcast. We're talking about making plans for turkey season next year, and some exciting stuff. So, yeah, I love that thought line of it not only connects you to people that you're trying to be intentional with, but it gives you a connection point to maybe others that you wouldn't maybe otherwise have. And I'm sure you, Bruce, have experienced that in the fishing world. I mean, good night.
Oh, I can go for hours on that. Just all the different people that I connected with, when I was out on tours doing stuff, I only ever met them because of fishing. That was it. I was never going to cross paths with any of these guys who have consequently become lifelong friends.
Yeah, I mean, you still talk to them.
Regularly, all these years later.
I mean, how often do you think you actually sit in your truck in silence? Because I think about 99% of the time you're on the phone with somebody.
That's my connection time.
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, that's like the intentionality factor. There are specific people that I've always stayed in contact, and that's my time. When I'm driving, that's my reach out and catch up with people time. Always has been.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, let's shift gears here a little bit. We talked about the hunting aspect of things and how, Dave, you got into hunting and what that's meant for your relationship with your son. Talk to us about your spiritual life a little bit. You're a fellow believer in Jesus Christ, and that's awesome. And talk to us about how has the idea of discipleship, mentorship, played a role in your life as far as your faith goes?
Again, man, these questions. you should have sent me a text with all these questions before we start.
We like raw.
We do. We like real and raw.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way. So I mean, I knew you as a kid, so I knew your parents, and I knew how your parents were raising you, but at some point, somebody other than your dad became a male mentor in your life.
Oh yeah.
So probably at Wildwood or after, when you were early teens or mid-teens.
All throughout. I mean, my life has been bouncing around in many places. I guess everybody fits this mold. You take off, you go to school, you go to college, university, you got that phase of life, then you're pursuing your young career, and then you're traveling. And so all throughout life, next thing you know, you're married, you have kids. In these phases of life, you're always sort of touching base with different men that you connect with. And camp is where my youth was, and then kind of the middle stages of my life, it was more the local churches that I was associated with. So we were always connected with the church, no matter where you go. I did a lot of traveling. No matter where you go, you got to have a body of believers that you connect with, and you got to have guys that you can talk to and share with. That is the definition of the church, really, at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're never missing that. So. And guys have come and gone. I mean, I was talking to Dave Pierce about Art Pierce not too long ago, and you know Art very, very well. But there was a man, like when my mom was ill with cancer and was passing away. There's a lot of complexities in your family when these things hit, and how you deal with them, and how you deal with others in your family, and that sort of thing. And so there was an old guy I got to sit down with, and he's like, Dave, do this, do this, do this. Don't mess around with that. And you know what? I applied his logic, and it was awesome. And you start to see how the Lord works through these guys that have been through stuff, that's seen stuff, and knows how to guide you. So I, and I think you have to seek out good people, and not seek out people that will give you answers that you think you want, as opposed to good answers. I mean, that's another thing is, and I'm very picky about people that I really reach to and confide with and work through issues. Is that sort of answer your question?
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, there's an exact example in Art Pierce. A lot of people listening, well, who's Art Pierce? Well, he was an elder at the church that I grew up at, that you have been at a couple times over the years, actually. And he was very influential into a lot of men's lives, very influential in mine when I got my life right back in the 90s. Poured a lot into me.
Yeah, it's really cool. Because I've heard Art's name before in other aspects with other guys, and it's cool. Like, I mean, when you just have a guy who is really just passionate about the next generation, you can tell. We went to a funeral this past Saturday for Wayne Baumgars. And, the amount of people that were there at that service, and just story after story of just the impact that Wayne has had on their life, and, his intentional discipling. And it was exactly what you're saying, Dave. It's Wayne wasn't somebody that just told you what you wanted to hear. Wayne was somebody who was willing to speak truth into somebody's life, and just the importance of that. Preached this past Sunday on John the Baptist, and that was John the Baptist's MO, man. He was going to speak truth, and he didn't care who he was speaking it to. And, he spoke it to Herod, and the next thing you know, his head's on a platter. Right? And that's how we should live, not being in fear, but wanting to honor God in that way, and being just willing to speak truth, no matter who it's to or what negative impact could come out of it, but doing it from a position of love and wanting to draw others back to Christ. And that was a theme kind of in Wayne's discipleship, is he wanted to give God his best, and he wanted others to be equipped to do that as well, which I think is just super special.
Yeah, and I think he honestly wanted to know what it was he could do to help you equip yourself. I always felt like that about him.
Yeah. Well, and one of the common themes with him too is he didn't always do it through talking. He did it a lot through listening and just being that listening ear. And we've talked about that in regards to discipleship before. Of it's not just trying to teach somebody or say correct them or whatever. It's just being that person that you can confide in.
And you bring up another point that I think is interesting, is I've kind of watched lots of guys finish not well. I've seen a lot of that in my lifetime, which is really disappointing. And that's, it's kind of on the negative side, but the negative side is, my goal is, the Lord has been so good to me. He has done so much in my life from the very beginning. Yes, I have my salvation. I have the Holy Spirit. But all throughout life is messy. And there's lots of stuff that goes on, and there's lots of waves. And the Lord is always good and solid. And that's one of the things that, and men sometimes are not. And so I've seen so many guys not finish well, and it's disappointing. And that's one of the things I am determined to make sure that I'm going to finish well at the end of the day. That's kind of important for me. It's maybe a little bit sideways from what you're looking at, but
no, not at all.
Yeah, that is a great challenge. And I mean, what?
Well, I'm at that age where I'm thinking we touched on this a little while ago. It's like I'm kind of in the last quarter, okay, and I know some of those guys, that didn't, I use my dad as an example of finishing well, because he was on fire the last 10 years of his life, But some other guys that were so important to me when I was younger didn't necessarily finish well, and my focus is I'm going to try to position myself so that I do finish well. Guys fail, and it was pointed out this week that guys don't fail on the theological side or the doctrinal side. They fail on the moral side. And in great numbers, they fail on the moral side.
Ravi Zacharias.
Oh, boy. Yeah. You can start
a list of people.
You can start naming them off. And so that, that's the focus is I just want to strengthen myself, deeper roots, just so I'm strong going into the finish.
Amen. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, to completely shift gears here, I want to end on a lighter note. I feel like sometimes we kind of end on on a more deeper thinking theological note.
We'd like to think so.
Yeah, well, I want to change it up. Okay, going off script again. I'm going to ask you a blitz round of questions here, Dave. Are you ready?
Yes.
Fire up.
Favorite gun brand?
I like them all. Shotguns, rifles, or pistols?
Whichever one you want to pick.
Pistols, Glocks.
Ooh.
But they are my Glocks, not Glock perfection. They're Glock Dave perfection.
Oh, you custom.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a left alone Glock.
They don't leave. They don't own anything stock.
Okay.
There's a little clue. Okay.
Favorite rifle caliber?
Oh, so yeah, 28 Nosler pretty much does everything. When I decide to go with a big long range, I go 33 XC, which is a kind of like a 338 on steroids. When I
Nice.
shoot 1,000 yards. Yeah.
That's incredible. You're in the tree stand. You have a snack in your bag. What's your snack?
Oh, it's whatever Krister brings because he brings all the good stuff.
He hooks Dad up. I like that.
Me and Krister share the stand, and trust me, two big boys in one tree stand, it's not easy.
Wait do you meet Krister?
That's awesome.
They growing big in the Bunce clan, let me tell you.
Love it. Okay, you got some deer meat in your freezer. You want to make your favorite recipe for some family and friends. What are you making?
Oh, we're either smoking a little bit of steak, loin, or, man, it's hard to beat venison chili, your style, whatever your style is.
Great. You're backpacking in to do a bear hunt. What is one item that you put in your pack that would maybe surprise somebody?
Wow, you know what? All kinds of gear to keep me warm after I get to the top of the cliff and I'm sweating to death.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Bruce, do you have any blitz questions?
No, because I get going. It's just, I'm just having so
This is
much
kinda
fun
fun.
with
I like
this
this kind
right
of
now.
challenge. I like it.
I'm telling you. Well, a favorite memory from a kid. You were here long enough to have some memories at camp.
At Bear Lake Bible
At
Camp?
Bear Lake. Number one at Bear Lake.
Bear Lake Bible Camp. We just talked about this yesterday. It was funny. Probably one of my most memorable is we came back as staffers. I can name all kinds of guys, but I won't, that were involved. And we went out all night and we stole Bob Tissett's car
Uh-oh.
from the parking lot of the east side of camp. We took it to the chapel, removed the doors, removed the chairs, removed the podium, installed the car in front of the fireplace, put the chairs back, put the doors back on, and put a big old sign that said, "We love you, Bob."
True story.
I love that.
That was one.
And there was a night watchman.
That poor
Back
guy.
in those
That poor
days.
guy didn't sleep all night either.
We
No.
can't do anything fun anymore. We
Not
just
like
get
that.
in too much trouble.
Okay, Wildwood.
Wildwood Ranch.
Yeah.
Man, we used to do haunted hay rides.
Wildwood's a cool place. It's way different.
Yeah, we would do haunted hay rides in the fall, and so they kind of let us go as young teenagers. Man, we had so much fun. We had guys swinging on ropes, but one of probably the funniest stories was a very good friend of mine. We got dressed up in ghost costumes, and he decided to get too close to the hay wagon. And the people were afraid and scared, and they reached out and they grabbed the sheet, and he falls down on the ground in this hayfield, and the sheet wraps around his neck, and there he is being dragged through the cornfields.
Oh, my God.
It's classic Bible
the
camp
ghost-
activity right here.
The ghost was being dragged through the
Mercy. Okay, and then you guys have done a bunch of time at UPBC,
Yes, sir.
which I went to UP as a kid, 2 years, got saved there, and then came here. How about UP? You've seen a lot of things happen up there over the years too.
Spiritual story or just
Good spiritual story. Give me something good there.
I shared this one too. I just learned about this not too long ago. My grandfather, Eldon Walter Bunce the First. My son is Eldon Walter Bunce the Second. Before any of them were saved, my father and my uncle, brothers, went to UPBC. My uncle compound fractured his leg, leg or arm, I can't remember, went to the hospital. My grandfather raced up there 3 days in the hospital. I guess it was that bad. And somebody from UPBC sat with my grandfather for 3 days and shared the gospel, and he accepted the Lord.
Praise God.
I do not know who that man is, but what a cool story.
That is
Yeah, no
amazing.
kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so the Bunce clan, from a bunch of ruffians, have accepted the Lord as a big family, and it was kind of a cool progression from there. So
Yeah.
camp is a special place.
Oh, amen to that. I mean,
A change in legacy.
yeah, for sure. You guys are just in my story. Your family played a big part in my story, and it's just been great memories. I have nothing but great respect and love for your dad. I loved your mom. Oh, she was really hard on us, I'm not going to lie. But I loved your mom, and it was great reconnecting with her after, so many years, before she went to the Lord. And it was just a real blessing to reconnect with them, and running into your dad a couple times over the years has been great, talking bass fishing, just phenomenal memories. Mm-hmm. And so having you on tonight, real blessing for me. I really appreciate you being here.
It's hard to believe we were 13, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't that long ago for me.
Yeah, well.
All right, 2 more questions real quick. Do you have a favorite camo brand or preference of pattern?
Ranella and First Light, just because of Michigan and everything, I've fallen down that path, and I just love the stuff.
I just hopped on the First Light train myself. Apologies to Will Boyer, because he is my partner with Forest and Sky, and he's a QU guy, so he actually helps work their booths. Okay, and then last question. Absolute dream hunt. If you could go on any hunt, what would it be?
That is so easy. If money and time were no object, I would be hunting tar at the top of the mountains, having a helicopter drop me off, shooting at 700 yards, walking 2 miles, and flying back from a helicopter. That would just be watching the sunrise from those mountains. That would be the bomb.
Hunting tar, is that what you said?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a...
No, go ahead.
It's a Himalayan sheep goat that they brought over to the island, and they brought them to hunt, and these guys went right straight to the top of the mountain, and nobody could get to them. And they've been there for 150 years, and they're long, gray, beautiful coats.
Look them up. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Man. And so to get to them, and that's why I thought it would be so cool, is, to fly a helicopter up. You do a little spike camp. You sit on the peak of a mountain. You watch the sunrise. Like, even if you didn't get a tar, it would still be amazing.
Yeah.
So, anybody looking to sponsor a hunt for 3 guys, I'm just saying.
We'll go.
We'll video the whole thing.
The last time we asked for someone to sponsor something, it happened.
There
We got a
you go.
microphone. So who knows? We might be going for a big hunt.
Lord works in mysterious
That's
ways,
right.
brother.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for tuning into this week's episode with our special guest, Dave Bunce. And we would love for you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you have any questions or suggestions, email forest.sky.hunting@gmail.com. There we go. Have a great week, and we'll catch you later.